What's going on, y'all? Gamers Boom back here today with the NFL Week 2 predictions. Week 1 just ended up last night with a Jets punt return victory, and we will be getting into Week 2 this week. But we started off on Thursday, Minnesota, Philadelphia. This is going to be a fun game. I know, obviously, Minnesota lost last week. They kind of did not do what we hoped they would do, but you still look at this Thursday night game. You got Kirk Cousins, who you know is going to throw 200, 300 yards. You got Justin Jefferson, who was a big factor last week, just didn't really help get a touchdown or anything like that. Eagles, Jalen Hurts wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst. You expect a little bit more out of him this week, but this should be a high-scoring, fun game. I think ultimately the Eagles should win. I'm going to say 31-28. But we're going to give them about 5 confidence points there. Last week, we did get 70 confidence points that we won. We're 7-9 so far in the predictions. So we are not in the positive yet. We're not in the green. We're in the red. We're not even. We're 7-9, so that's not any good. Then we get Green Bay against the Falcons. Green Bay, obviously, they were pretty good last week against my Chicago Bears. Falcons, they did their thing. They won. But I think the Packers should win this game. Packers, we kind of went into the season underestimating what they're capable of. I don't think that necessarily they showed the world that they're some special team or anything like that. I think the Bears were just really, really bad. There's a lot of things I can complain about for the Bears. We'll save it for when I pick for the Bears. But Packers, Jordan Love didn't look like a liability. Falcons, Desmond Ridder struggled early on, but he ended up figuring it out for them to get the win. But I think the Packers should expect to win this. I'm gonna give it 6 confidence points. Give it 6 confidence points for now. Raiders versus the Bills. Bills, they should have won. Thought they should have won. They didn't end up winning though, and I can't believe they didn't end up winning. To be honest with you, Raiders, they did win last week, but I think I'm going to go with about the 95% of people that are taking the Bills. Bills, how many times is Josh Allen going to turn the ball over as much as he did in week 1? He's not going to throw 3 interceptions and fumble and do all that stuff. There's surely no way that happens. I'm got a lot of confidence. I'm putting 14 confidence points that Josh Allen and the Bills bounce back because that was a very uncharacteristic game from Josh Allen. You do not expect that when you watch a Josh Allen game. Stephon Diggs looked great, but Josh Allen kind of didn't, and that kind of costed him. Speaking about teams that didn't look great, oh, wow. I could not believe how poor this team looked. The Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens, obviously, they did their thing. They won. Bengals, I could not be more shocked at a team that only put up 3 points. The Bengals. I thought the Bengals would have easily won last week, but the Bengals went in there, scored 3 points. Joe Burrow did nothing. T. Higgins got 0 receptions for the entire game. I mean, the Bengals, what are you doing? Jamar Chase led the team with 5 receptions for 39 yards. He didn't get 40. Didn't even get 40. Joe Mixon only got 56 yards. I mean, there was absolutely no offense to be found for the Bengals. And I don't know if going into a game against the Ravens, a good Ravens team, if that's the best point in the season to find your offense. That was a very poor display from the Bengals. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I do like Joe Burrow. I do not like how they performed. Ravens, I got points on them. I'm putting, I'll say 8 points on them. Bengals should have a chance to be better in this game. But after that performance week 1, I just can't bring myself to pick the Bengals. That was absolutely pathetic. Seattle will be going to Detroit. Seattle, speak about another team that just really didn't show up. They did not show up at all. 0-1. Seattle, they got beat 30-13 against a Rams team that didn't have Cooper Kupp. You can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen if you're the Seahawks. The Lions, though, they got their win. They beat Kansas City. I think the Lions are going to be a good team this year. I think they're a playoff team. I'm going with the Lions. I'm actually going to put a decent amount of confidence points on it. I'm putting 11 confidence points on it. I think the Lions are going to be a good team this season. And then you get the Chargers and the Titans. Chargers obviously part of that big match week 1 between the Dolphins and themselves. Ended up coming up short of the victory, but I do think that they are going to be a really good team this year. I think the Chargers, you look at their 0-1, it's slightly different from the rest of the league. Titans, they lost to the Saints in a close game. Saints team obviously without Alvin Kamara. But I think Chargers, just too much to handle. If you could not handle what the Saints threw at you, well, I mean, they did kind of handle it. They only lost by 1 point. But you got too many good receivers. You got Mike Williams over there. You got Keenan Allen over there. You got Quentin Johnston over there now. Austin Eckler's a receiving back. I think he's questionable for the game, but I think he'll end up going probably more likely than not. But you got Austin Eckler over there. Justin Herbert likes to air it out. This game is going to be a long day for the Titans secondary. Chargers, I'm actually going to go crazy here and give you 16 confidence points. Chargers, you should not be losing to the Titans. You just shouldn't. I know you both lost week 1. Chargers, your offense is too high power to lose to a team like the Titans. Bears, Tampa, I don't even know where I want to go. If you asked me before the season, I would have said this is a guarantee that the Bears win. And if you asked me after last game, where the Buccaneers beat the Vikings, who I thought was going to be a better team, and the Bears lost to the Packers, who I thought was going to be a worse team, I'm going to say that the Buccaneers are going to win. And I don't like saying that because it's my Chicago Bears, but last week was an absolute embarrassment. Embarrassment to what the Bears organization is all about. The defense didn't show up. The offense didn't show up. Seemingly the only person to play or even show up to the game was Roschon Johnson. He's the only person that I was impressed with. Everybody else, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they were still in preseason form. What happened? But that was an absolute joke, what we watched week 1. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I'm going to put 7 confidence points on it. That's a 7 points that I want to be wrong. I don't mind if I lose those 7 points. The Bears need to figure it out and quick. They need to figure it out and quick. Or else, by the end of the season, we're going to have yet another replaced coach. And maybe offensive coordinator. And maybe defensive coordinator. We're going to keep swapping through that staff because that was an absolute joke that's what they gave us on week 1. At home, you gave us that bad of a performance. That is completely unacceptable. Chiefs, Jaguars. Chiefs, obviously, they did get the short end of the stick there against the Lions. I think the Lions are going to be a good team. Jaguars, obviously, they did their thing last week. I believe they played the Colts, if I'm correct. Did they play the Colts? Yeah, they beat the Colts. But I think this is one that, yes, I know that the Jaguars obviously are coming off a good week. Chiefs are coming off a bad week. Chiefs should come back. They should bounce back. I got a lot of confidence that they do. I'm going to put 12 confidence points there on the Chiefs. They should. Mahomes should not be concerned. Colts versus Texans. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to say it. There's 2 rookie QBs in this game. There's 3 rookie QBs that started week 1. And I think the best QB week 1 out of all of them was the 3rd QB off the board. Anthony Richardson looked phenomenal. He did pick up a knock. He might not play. He is questionable for this game. But he looked phenomenal. I was not impressed with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. I was not impressed with them. I was a little bit more impressed with C.J. Stroud than I was Bryce Young. Bryce Young did not impress me whatsoever. But C.J. Stroud looked okay, but Anthony Richardson looked light years better than both. Granted, I don't think that's going to be the case throughout the entireties of their careers. Obviously, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, they will have better days. Anthony Richardson, I'm hoping what we saw week 1 is just the beginning from him, because he is somebody that we talked about throughout the entirety of the draft process about having this super high potential. It's just a matter of whether or not it will click in the NFL, whether or not he'll get on the same page with his receivers, whether or not he'll be able to run whatever offense he goes into. And I think he did a great job. I think Anthony Richardson did a real good job. Obviously, they did not win. They did end up losing to the Jaguars, but I think the Colts are a sneaky team this year with Anthony Richardson as the QB. Obviously, you would expect C.J. Stroud to have a better game here against a Colts defense that is a little bit less impactful. Obviously, though, with his top target being Nico Collins, what do you expect? Nothing against Nico Collins, but and on other teams, he'd be your second, third option. Colts, granted, they don't have any star breakout receiver either, but they have a quarterback that I think is very dynamic, can help extend plays, really could win this game for him. I'm going with the Colts. Risky pick. I think the Texans defense is a little bit better suited to stop them. I believe the Texans defense had 4 sacks last week. Will Anderson had a sack, but I think we'll still end up giving the edge there to the Colts. We'll put 4 confidence points on them and Anthony Richardson to get it done. 49ers, Rams. Rams looked great last week. Matthew Stafford looked good and well. 49ers looked great last week. They looked good and well. I don't know if I want to put a lot of confidence points on it. I do think the 49ers will win. Don't know how much of the game last week was the Seahawks being bad versus the Rams being great. But I do know that the 49ers are going to be a really good team. But because I don't really know how much stock to put into the Rams just yet, I'm going to only give it 3 confidence points. But the 49ers, I think, will come out on top. Giants versus Arizona. The Giants. Let's talk about an embarrassing performance. You thought the Bears were bad. 40-0. 40-0. They didn't put up a single point. They didn't even get a field goal. They didn't even get a field goal. What were the Giants doing? The Giants, literally, 40-0. And you know how many passing touchdowns? Let me go through how bad it was. Dak Prescott threw for 143 yards and 0 passing touchdowns. 0 passing touchdowns. 3 rushing touchdowns, Cowboys, and 1 defensive touchdown, I believe. And a block kick return for a touchdown. That's pathetic. Your special teams wasn't good. You couldn't stop the run. What happened? Seriously, what happened in this game? You look at this, I don't even know how you lost 40-0. They had 143 yards through the air. Is there a better breakdown of this? Total yards. The Cowboys had 265 total yards. You know how many yards teams typically need to score 40 points? Like 400, 500 yards. The Cowboys did it under 300. The Giants, what did you do? What an embarrassment. The Giants should not be happy about that performance. They shouldn't even be, I don't even know. They should not be even allowed to do that bad. They should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed. They need to have a better game. The Cardinals, I thought they looked decent. The Cardinals didn't shock the world or anything like that, but they looked decent. Josh Dobbs did a decent job. The Giants, they look completely horrible. That's the one good thing about being a Bears fan is we weren't the worst team in week 1 at least. The Giants? I saw a video of a Giants fan, and I don't even know if I would have done this, but I felt the guy's pain. He's walking out the crowd. He takes his jersey off and just throws it and just keeps walking. He willingly took off and left like a $100, $150 jersey. That was an embarrassment. I probably would have left the game. I don't know if I would have left the jersey. How bad do you got to be to make somebody leave their jersey at the stadium and say, you know what, forget this. We're so bad, I don't even want this jersey anymore. How bad do you got to be? You see that when, like, if somebody switches teams, like an Aaron Rodgers switches from the Packers to the Jets, maybe somebody will burn a jersey or throw a jersey away or whatever. He willingly threw a jersey away because the Jets were, or the Giants were doing so bad that he just could not wear that jersey anymore, and he didn't even want it. He didn't even take it home with him. At least the Bears didn't make me get rid of my Fields jersey after that performance. At least we put up some points. How bad do you got to be? How bad do you have to be to let that happen? That's a completely terrible thing to have happen. You cannot lose a game 40-0 in the NFL. And if you do, I feel bad for your fan base because you let them down. And the Giants were a team I thought could come in and have a really solid year. I thought they could come in and even beat the Cowboys week 1. Not if they're looking like that. Not if they're looking like that. The Giants, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because whatever you're doing, do the opposite. It ain't working. Cardinals, they only got about 20% of the predictions here. I'm going with them because that was a pathetic performance from the Giants. I think the Giants should be really disappointed in themselves. They are better than that. They should be. They should know they're better than that. I don't even know how that happens to a team like the Giants. I thought the Giants were going to have a solid year. Daniel Jones came off a pretty solid year last year. Saquon Barkley came off a pretty solid year. And nobody did a single thing. Not a single person even did anything. I don't even know how that's possible. I really don't. If you're a Giants fan, I'm sorry that you had to see that. I really am. You didn't even put up a single point. You got blown out. It wasn't like a bad defensive showcase, a 7-0 type of win. It was just embarrassing. It's honestly just embarrassing. Cowboys should not have won 40-0. You can't let that happen if you're the Giants. You just can't. Jets and Dallas. Speaking about teams that blew everybody out the water, Dallas. Obviously, we just talked about them winning 40-0. Is that a reflection of how good Dallas is, or a reflection of how good the Giants are? I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys are just that good, but the Giants should be really disappointed still. Cowboys, they should win this game. Jets are going out there without Aaron Rodgers. You got a full week of preparation to go up against Zach Wilson. You know who your quarterback is you're going up against. You don't have to prepare for Aaron Rodgers. You can go back, watch the tape, see where Zach Wilson's failed in the past, really just target those weaknesses in his game and hope that he hasn't fixed them yet with Aaron Rodgers as his mentor. But the Cowboys should win this game pretty easily yet again. I think it would be a better showing than the Giants. It should be a better showing than the Giants, or else maybe I'm wrong about the Giants. Maybe the Giants are a good team, but Cowboys are the best team ever. I really hope that ain't the case. Because I don't know if we're ready for the Cowboys to be the best team in the NFL. I don't know. I definitely am not. I don't want to see the Cowboys be the best team in the NFL. I know a lot of people probably don't. But the Jets at least make it a little bit more respectable. I got 9 confidence points the Cowboys win. Commanders versus Broncos. Commanders, they did their thing. I believe they won. Let me go back to last week. Did they win? Yeah, the Commanders, they played the Cardinals. Of course they won. The Raiders, they didn't, or not the Raiders. The Broncos lost to the Raiders, and they were not able to get the job done. Russell Wilson didn't look completely horrible, believe it or not. He actually did a decent job. Russell Wilson, 177, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's the good news there for Russell Wilson. Sam Howell, on the other hand, did throw an interception. A little bit better yards-wise, 202. But I think this is going to be a fun game. These are 2 teams that I think will probably finish towards the middle, if not middle-bottom part of the... I don't think either of these teams are going to be like top 5 competitors. I think that both of these teams could finish anywhere from about like the 15th and like total, somewhere from like 15th to 10. Maybe even one of them will be able to push up in a weaker conference. I don't know. But I think both of these teams kind of expect to finish around the middle of the pack type of area. Commanders, I want to say the Commanders. But I think with Sam Howell, the Broncos could exploit it a little bit. I'm going to say Broncos country. Let's ride. I'm not going to put much confidence on it. I'm actually only going to put 1 confidence point on it. But we're going to ride with Broncos. We're going to ride with Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Dolphins versus Patriots. Dolphins, speak about a team that looked great. Tua Tagovailoa was by far, in my opinion, the star of the show from last week. Obviously, it helped. Tyreek Hill looked great. But Tua, I don't think anybody expected Tua to go out and do what Tua did. Tua was amazing. And if he can replicate that against the New England Patriots, obviously Mac Jones being the other quarterback there, Mac Jones didn't look too bad either, to be honest with you. But Dolphins going in this game, they should win. They should win. The Patriots aren't going to be able to hang with the 30, 40 points that the Dolphins can put up like they did last week. The Dolphins do that again. If Tua looks even half as good as he did last week, the Dolphins should win this. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm actually going to put a lot of confidence in it. I'm putting 15 confidence points in it. Saints, Panthers. Saints, you guys should easily win this game. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Bryce Young's going to come around. I get he's going to come around. But last week was not the week for him. It was not the week. Saints, a little bit better of an opponent. I think the Saints should win this. Saints, I'm putting 10 confidence points on you. That you guys should get the job done. You should get the job done. Also, I think J.C. Horn's going to be out, so hopefully he gets good to go. I don't remember if I mentioned for the Jets that Aaron Rodgers is going to be done for the season. And also for the Ravens, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be done for the season. You always hate to have the injuries, but they're part of the game, unfortunately. But I do have the Saints being the ones to win that game. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh to close it out. I think we're probably going to go with Cleveland. We're going to go with Cleveland. And I only have 13 points left to bet, and I'm putting it on the Browns. Am I confident in the Browns with 13 points? I don't know. I really don't know. But the Browns, Steelers should be a decent game. Kenny Pickett going up against Deshaun Watson. We'll see what happens. But I think the Browns should expect to win that game. We'll make the picks. We will make the picks saved, and there we go. That is our end of week 2 predictions. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.